Self-doubt can be crippling. Are you not very good at your job, or is it just the imposter syndrome talking? As the former VP of HR at Microsoft and now an advisor to executives worldwide, I see imposter syndrome daily. I see it on the faces of people working their way up the ranks, people in the C-suite, and even at the very top. I saw Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer question their own skills as they steered the tech giant Microsoft. How do you tell if your self-doubt, that often debilitating imposter syndrome, is justified? Or is it all in your head? Here are some places to look for the answer. The most direct way to gauge whether you're good at what you do is to look at what others are saying. Read your performance reviews carefully. Check for objective statements about the quality of your work, the way you get results, and how you work with others. Be sure to read between the lines to look for half compliments or insincerity. Reviews are formal feedback and are sometimes carefully crafted to give a specific tone. Check to see if the written feedback matches the oral feedback you get from your manager in less formal settings. If you're getting good reviews, that almost always means you're doing good work. Rereading your reviews can be a great way to bolster your self-esteem and combat looming imposter syndrome. Beyond reviews, do you get unsolicited comments about your work? Whether good or bad, comments that come without prompting from people you trust are usually genuine. Most allies would rather stay silent than speak untruths. So, if you're hearing good words spoken to your face, you're probably good at what you do. Yet, I hear that little voice in the back of your head screaming right now. What if they're just saying that to be nice or to cover up a real problem? It's time to look further. One of the biggest places where imposter syndrome hits is the nagging feeling of, do I even belong in this room? You look around a meeting and wonder if you deserve a seat at the table. I love this question because it affords you a great way to kill your imposter syndrome. I call it rank the room. Every meeting has a range of people in the room. Think of them on a scale from 1 to 5, where the 5s who are people who absolutely need to be in that room, and the 1s are the people who needn't or even shouldn't be there. The 5s in that room are most often the person who called the meeting. Then come the 4s, who are experts on the subject, or people with direct impact on the results. At the other end, the 1s are people who really have no input or impact. They're simply observers. The 2s are the scribes, there for little more than stenography. That leaves the 3s, who are involved or invited because they might have impact, or they're people whose advice on similar subjects has impressed the organizer. If you look around the room, what are you? You probably spend much of your time in meetings as a 5 or a 4. You called the meeting or you're essential to it. Occasionally, you're there as a 3, there because you add value. I would bet you're almost never in a room where you're a 1 or a 2, or the organizer just wouldn't have invited you. They don't want 1s there weighing it down. So look around the room and you'll objectively find that your self-doubt is unwarranted. As a 3 or above, you belong in that room. My next video will be a lot more detail on ranking the room, so be sure to subscribe to my channel so you see it. Subscribing also helps spread the word to others, maybe even your boss. Alas, I realize that even now that voice in your head is still there, still screaming. They're just being nice to me, inviting me out of pity. Then try to look objectively. Perhaps the surest way to tamp down imposter syndrome is the same way the company judges you, through the results of your efforts. If you can, look at what you do objectively. Compare your results to peers, especially outside your company. How do you and your team rank for the output you produce, the value you create, and the impact you have on the company? I recommend looking outward because there are rarely direct comparisons inside. Most smaller companies don't have multiple teams doing similar work. You're also too close to be objective when comparing internally. So look outside and see how you and your work rank objectively in the world at large. This is, after all, how the company rates you. They don't grade you on a curve, giving you the benefit of the doubt. They compare the company and every element of it to the harshest judge of all, the open market. Very often, you and your results are objectively well above your own self-judgment. Far from giving yourself the benefit of a curve, you're likely your own harshest critic. And that internal critic is what's causing your self-doubt, your crippling imposter syndrome. Finally, when that voice in your head screams, "They're just being nice to me," think that through. Do you often see the company or your manager being charitable? I bet it's often the opposite, where the bias is perhaps a little too harsh. So sure, wallow in it for a moment, allow yourself a moment to ponder, am I really good at what I do? And then move on promptly. When you look objectively, yes, you are. You're fine. Maybe great.